And do you think these lessons somehow also become a mission of your life, or somehow can tell you that this is what I want to do, this is where I should spend my time, this is how I should help people in my life? Do you think they also have a insight for us to help people in some way? Because
Of course.
I'll give you a small
Go
example.
ahead.
Yeah, that I personally have suffered from a lot of anxiety in my life. I have had anxiety. My mother had anxieties. I had anxiety, and I have dealt with it, managed to deal with it in very difficult ways. But somehow, by reading books, by becoming more spiritual, by chanting, by doing things I enjoy, somehow I have been able to curb that. And now I truly believe that my role here is to help promote mental health, help promote
Mm-hmm.
the idea of spirituality to more people. And this is why I also run this YouTube channel. So it came to me, doing people also should have some should get some lesson out of it, and help people. Mhm.
Sambhav, you've been able to do what you're doing today is because you've had that awareness.
Hmm.
Okay, if 3 years ago someone told you that, oh, Sambhav, you're going to be doing a YouTube channel where you're going to be talking about mental, spiritual health, you would have said impossible. You're able to do it today because you've learned certain lessons. And it's not only about learning the lessons, Sambhav, it's also about mastering it.
Hmm.
Today, when you go to school, just because you're learning something does not mean you get promoted to the next level, right? You have to give your exams,
Yeah.
you have to pass your exams, you have to make that lesson your virtue.
Hmm.
You know, today it can be very easy for someone, suppose a karmic lesson is being patient. Being patient in 5 situations versus being a patient person are two very different things. You know, being patient in the situation is an act, but when you become a patient person, that becomes a being. You know what I mean? There's a difference.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's not in the act, it's in the
Yeah.
being. And when you actually become that person,
Hmm.
only then you are able to uplift other people.
Yeah.
Pretending to be a teacher versus actually being a teacher are
Hmm.
two very different things.
Hmm. Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah.
only when you master that virtue, when you master that lesson, you are in a better position to uplift other people.
True. Yeah.
So
Hmm.
yes, to answer your question,
Yeah.
yes, when we learn our karmic lessons, and we learn, one is learning, but one is also becoming that. When
Yeah.
you become that virtue,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you strengthen that muscle, when that lesson becomes your strength, that's when you can start pulling people up to help that particular lesson.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah. But my next question is, can you do that in one lifetime? Because for some
See,
people
in
it might
one
be difficult.
lifetime,
Hmm.
no, in one lifetime, Sambha, I think we are very harsh on ourselves, number one, as people. And also with awareness, it's very natural for us to become extremely judgmental and critical of ourselves because all of a sudden we are aware to our own flaws. You also need to understand that this is not the only lifetime we've lived. We've lived multiple lifetimes to be where we are.
Hmm.
And we've also learned multiple lessons in our past lifetimes.
Hmm.
So we are born with certain virtues. By the virtue, notice there are some people who are extremely confident by nature. There are some people who are extremely patient by nature. There are some people who are very forgiving or who are very assertive or very decisive by nature. Maybe these are the lessons, these are the virtues they have picked up in your past lifetimes. Now, if you've already mastered that, of course, in this lifetime, it comes to you very naturally. You don't have to master that.
Hmm.
So, if you've mastered 10 to 15 lessons in all your previous lifetimes, then in this lifetime, you're exempted from those lessons. You have to focus on the lessons that you've been flunking in or failing
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, to answer your question, no, in one lifetime, we don't have to go through all the
Yeah.
lessons.
Hmm. So, okay, so a different question. We, when we talk about becoming more spiritual, can it also make us more productive as people, in the sense that it can also work with our ego self and help us achieve our goals in the physical world, in the material world also? Can our spirit
Mhm.
attune itself with the ego self? Can both work together and
Absolutely.
do the impossible in the real world?
Absolutely, because
Hmm.
you need to understand that when you
Hmm.
start working on the spiritual self, Sambhav, you automatically have more energy
Hmm.
to kind of channelize into the physical realm, because by the end of it, we live in a body. We
Hmm.
have our needs.
Hmm.
We have our desires, goals,
Yeah.
dreams. Today, if you completely burn yourself out, say today you work for 13 hours and tomorrow morning you have a meeting where you need to crack $1 million deal,
Yeah.
okay? If your spiritual energies are low, will you be able to put your best foot forward mentally, emotionally in the meeting?
No.
Because you're so exhausted from today.
Hmm.
But if you go back home after a long day at work and you spend or invest your time in uplifting or refueling your energy for the next day, you
Hmm.
will be able to perform far better. Today, what food is for our physical body, spirituality is for the soul.
Yeah.
Today, notice days that you're sitting at home, you may eat a lot, but you may not feel that hungry.
Hmm.
But days that you are actually on the go, you feel even more hungry because you want more food that can be converted into energy.
Yeah.
Because our body, by the end of it, runs on energy.
Yeah.
Similarly, our soul also runs on energy.
Hmm.
It's just that it's not food energy, it's peace energy, spiritual energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So once you
Hmm.
start tuning into that, once you
Hmm.
start uplifting your spiritual vibration or
Hmm.
your energy,
Hmm.
automatically you will automatically have enough of energy to expel into the physical materialistic personality world.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
And
quality of life will be
hmm.
different.
Yeah, correct. And so another thing, see, most of these beliefs and values, have achieved this goal by the age of 25, get married by 30. All these are also ingrained to us by our parents when we are,
True.
young. And I do believe parents have a very strong role in imbibing spirituality, making the their children more spiritual. So what they should do when they are parenting kids at a young age to help kids realize this thing, because I think many parents are going wrong in so many ways right now, and I think kids
True.
themselves are spiritual beings. They are just harming them by putting more physical goals and materialistic goals over them. Hmm.
One of the biggest mistakes that the parents in today's day and age is what they're doing is comparison. We need to understand that every soul is unique in its own way. Every soul is gifted somehow.
Hmm.
I have a gift from birth, which is my psychic ability, which is, I pick up energies. Some people have a gift of a technical brain. Some people have a gift of communication. Some people have a gift of performance arts. Some people have a gift of, building things. What is important for every parent is to recognize their own child's USP, uniqueness, and their strength, and allow that child to grow into that rather than making them like clones of what other
Hmm.
people or other parents are doing to their children.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
Unfortunately, like you said, the pressure, oh my God, there's so much of pressure for us to learn all our lessons in one lifetime. That's the amount of pressure that the parents are putting on their children. They have
Hmm.
to be academically strong also. They need to be good human beings. They need to be good in sports. They need to be good in dance and musical
Yeah.
instruments. Their handwriting should be good. They should be good in all the 10 subjects.
Hmm.
That's too much of a pressure. Today,
Yeah.
if you and me are adults, I'm assuming we are 30 plus, and the pressure is, oh my God, how do we learn all these lessons in one
Hmm.
lifetime?
Yeah.
Imagine the pressure those little children go through in learning all subjects in one lifetime.
Hmm.
So
Correct.
what I would say to every parent is that you need to, number one, acknowledge and become aware to what your child's gift is.
Hmm.
I'm not saying that they need to kind of only focus on the gift and forget what the school demands it to be,
Hmm.
but make your child aware of that gift. Allow it to become its strength rather than weakness. Number one, stop
Yeah.
comparing your child to other people. Every soul has
Hmm.
a different journey. Today, if all Harvard graduates don't land up reaching the same level of success, right?
Yeah.
Because every person has their own individual chart, every
Yeah.
person has their own individual
Yeah.
journey to follow. So
Yeah.
today, every child has their own journey to follow, and
Yeah.
you need to equip rather than controlling what rather than choosing the journey, for the child, you should equip your child as a human being,
Hmm.
that whether you're on path A, B, C, D, whether you become a designer, whether you become a sports person, whether you become a politician, whether you become a Harvard graduate or a lawyer or a engineer, your basic rules, your basic characteristics, your way to deal with problems, your way to deal with situations, that should be harnessed into children. You know
Hmm.
what, which is what we call soft skill training, ways to
Hmm.
deal with situations. I don't think parents these days are really focusing
Hmm.
on making children stronger as human beings. They
Yeah,
want their children to be brighter but not stronger.
absolutely, absolutely, very well said.
So,
Yeah. So okay, my second last question. So when we talk about the concept of soulmates,
mhm.
what is a soulmate, and how do you know this person is my soulmate?
I'm going to keep this very crisp because
Yeah,
this conversation can go on for two
yeah,
hours. So,
yeah.
soulmates are basically people
Hmm.
whom you have decided to encounter in your life, in your current life,
Hmm.
and they are going to be watching your back. They're going to be holding space for you to be yourself
Hmm.
through the course of life. Now, unfortunately, somehow the entire concept of soulmate is taken to be more of a romantic connotation, that, oh my God, my lover and my husband should be my soulmate, or my wife should be my soulmate.
Hmm.
That is all wrong. Today, you can be in a relationship with someone, and that person may not even be your soulmate. Your soulmate can be your parents, your soulmate can be your siblings,
Hmm.
your soulmate can be your best friend. You know,
Hmm.
your soulmate can be your domestic help who's been serving you so that you are able to achieve a lot more faster. You're able to achieve a lot more because you have the comfort of the lifestyle that you're living in. You know
Hmm.
what I mean?
Hmm.
So soulmate are basically souls that we invite into our life, and it could be through any relationship format, not necessarily romantic,
Hmm.
who are meant to hold space for us to grow as individuals and reach our purpose in life.
Wow, great. Okay, this was very useful because the idea of
Yeah.
soulmate is wrong in our what we are told is
Yeah.
absolutely
In
wrong.
the whole romantic bookish milk and
Yeah, yeah,
bone way.
yes. So, okay, last question. How can we be happier as a society? Right now, a lot of stress is going on. What is the spiritual insight towards being more happier as a society cumulatively?
I think the first thing I would tell all the audience and the society is that number one, you need to give up the need to be happy,
Hmm.
because happiness kind of defies the law of universe. The law of universe is whatever goes up comes down.
Hmm. 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 Hmm.
And happiness is a state of elevation. So we may feel happy, but we will at some point also go down.
Hmm.
People or the universe, sorry, the society does not really lay emphasis on peace. Peace is a state of non-polarity. Happiness is a state of polarity. Whenever there is a polarity of a positive,
Hmm.
because it's energy, there's always going to be a negative.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's why,
Yeah.
if you notice, Buddha spoke about the middle path. He spoke about balance. And even
Yeah.
the first conversation that you asked me, I spoke about the term balance, that there has to be a balance.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is wrong to completely kind of leave all your materialistic needs and become a sadhu sant in today's day and age. And it's also wrong in just getting into the whole materialistic needs and forget your spiritual self. There has to be a balance. So,
Hmm.
number one is, rather than choosing happiness, we as a society need to give more importance to the word peace.
Hmm.
Number one.
Hmm.
Number two is, we need to kind of start focusing on our own decisions, because somehow, while we are individuals, we are also universal. Every choice that we make, every decision that we take, it creates a ripple effect in people's life, not only people living under the same roof, but also our neighbors, our society we live in. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So it's very important to acknowledge your power to influence the universe around you.
True.
The minute you become aware to the power that you have, you automatically will start making much more wiser choices. Right now, we are all living in the world me, 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 me,
Hmm. Hmm.
not understanding that the word me, me, me can actually create such a drastic effect on people's lives.
Yeah.
So that is very important, is keeping in mind that while we are individual, we are also universal, and
Hmm.
we have that power and potential to influence the world around us.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very important.
True.
Yeah. Great, Tamanna. This was brilliant, insightful, and I personally learned a lot from this session. I'm sure
Thank you so much.
people will would have also learned a lot, and absolutely blown away with your words with this session. And
Thank, thank
thank you so
you.
much. Thank you so much for being
My
on.
pleasure, Samba. My pleasure.
Thank you so much. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this interview. Please like this interview, share it to your social media handles, and subscribe to my YouTube channel Dive In for more such soul stirring content.